Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have a knife you've seen on this channel before. This is a Spyderco Spydiechef. This is the new CQI version, the Constant Quality Improvement version. They made one little small change to it, but to me, it is kind of noticeable. I will admit, I've only had this thing for a day, but I did spend a lot of time with the previous Spydiechef, so I didn't really feel like I had to spend a whole lot of time with it. What's nice about this version I like is they also did a CQI version of the Spyderco Capara, which you will see shortly when I do size comparisons. But on the Capara, you can't tell the difference unless you take it apart, as far as I know anyway. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. On the Spydiechef, you can tell because the finish is slightly different and you have black screws. So it's pretty easy to tell it's one of the new CQI versions. The difference is they put a ceramic detent ball on it because one of the main things about this knife is it has LC200 and steel, which is pretty much completely corrosion proof, developed by NASA. I don't know, everybody likes to say developed by NASA. Well, you know, NASA also helped develop Tang, and that's terrible. But this is actually a really, really good steel. I do like LC200 and a whole lot. But it used to have a steel detent ball. That was the only part of this knife that could corrode. Now they've gotten rid of that. They've gone to ceramic. So now it's pretty much a completely corrosion-resistant knife. They say it's just as corrosion-resistant as their Salt series and all that stuff. So, and pretty cool since it's a Spydiechef, meaning that it's kind of meant for food prep and stuff like that. It's going to get gross stuff on it if you use it as the designer intended. The designer being Marcin Swish, however you say it. I say Swish. Pretty sure that's how you're supposed to say it. I think I heard him say it once, so that's the way I go with it. But you're getting a full titanium frame, frame lock, nice wire pocket clip, which I like a whole lot. And yeah, and the overall look is, I think most people really like it. It is very swoopy. You just have the little swish mark on the blade. And I really like the look of it. I said that in the previous video. I'm going to link to that video here at the end, but in one of the little things on the end. But at that time, I was debating on whether or not I should buy one. Spoiler alert, I'm going to do a full review on this, but spoiler alert, yeah, somebody sent me this as a loaner, but they offered me a pretty good price, and yeah, it ain't going back. Yeah, I was debating on getting one in the last video 8 months ago, and then I heard rumors of the CQI one at Blade Show, so I held off. Now they're pretty widely available. $217.75. Sorry, it took me 2 minutes and 45 seconds to get to that. So they're not horribly cheap, but I don't think they're horribly expensive either, especially when you're looking at like a swoosh buoy is going for $400 or $500 easy on the secondary market. I think this is pretty cool. And I really thought when I previously reviewed this that they were going to discontinue it. But no, they're obviously not. They made some changes to it. They're still making them. You know, go out and get one when you can. I don't know if they're in stock at whitemountainKnives.com, but if you go there, excuse me, you can get 10% off. Use the code SDWMK at checkout. You can do all that. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before I keep rambling too much more. Pretty just good mid-size EDC folder size. You have a blade length of 3.3 inches, overall length of 7.8 inches. You have a blade thickness of 0.11 inches, handle thickness of very slim at just 0.40 inches, and a weight of 3.8 ounces according to my scales. So pretty good just EDC sort of overall size. Let's do some size comparisons. We're going to do a whole lot of Spydercos, but we'll start out with something non-Spyderco. We'll just I haven't done this little sandwich in a while. This is the Ontario Rat Model 2 and the Ontario Rat 1. Sorry for my voice today. I had a show last night, so my voice is a little crappy. Yeah, you can see it's kind of in between those two. And now for some of the more appropriate ones, I guess you would say, with some of the Spydercos, because if you're buying one of these, good chance you're a Spyderco fan and you probably have at least a few of these around. Your Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Little bit smaller than the PM2, but not by a whole lot. We're gonna change it up. Instead of doing the Para 3, we're gonna do the Sage 5 today. That's what I had around. And we'll do two more. One, just because I like it and I don't put it on camera enough because I don't come up with excuses to. We have the Manix 2 and another Spyderco that's pretty hot right now, and like I said, they just did a CQI version of. Also, this is not the CQI version, not that you'd be able to tell, but the Capara. Pretty similar price between these two. I may do a battle to the death with these two, but you know, I don't have the CQI of that one, so I won't. I know there's definitely gonna be a battle to the death I'm doing with another knife with this, so you will not. This will not be the only video you see the Spydiechef in. Because otherwise I couldn't justify buying it. So I have to find a way to lie to myself so I can justify buying it, right? But yeah, the blade on this thing, it's pretty darn good. About 21, 22 thousandths behind the edge. Not shockingly thin behind the edge, but the blade stock is pretty thin, only 0.11 inches. And it razor sharp out of the box. I know the previous owner didn't touch it up or anything. He said he barely used it, and it looks like that. I do like using this blade actually for what it says for food prep. As a chef's knife, I do kind of like it as a little folding chef's knife. I mentioned in the last review of this, somebody who I know is a really good chef said it sucks as a chef knife. I don't know. I think it works really great. I guess I'm mostly cutting really small stuff. I'm mostly cutting like garlic and small onions and stuff, and it's really good for those kind of rocking sort of cuts. But it's also just a good EDC blade too. The tip isn't like super dainty or anything. You can actually do some stuff with it. I really, really do like the blade on this. And the LC200N it's not like it doesn't have like the edge retention of like M390 or anything like that. But it's pretty darn good, and it's just completely corrosion resistant. So if you have to cut lemons or something like that, you know, stuff that will often damage a blade quickly, give it corrosion very quickly, you don't have to sweat it with the LC200. So that's very, very nice. As far as the ergonomics go, one of my favorite things about this knife, it just fits my hand really well. Just the way this handle is arced, it's in a good place for my finger to land. There's no jimping or anything like that. And that doesn't really bother me too much. This isn't really that kind of knife, but ergonomically just great. This wire pocket clip pretty much disappears. You don't really feel it at all in your hand. And yeah, the handle feels a bit thin, but yeah, ergonomically pretty darn good. Really, really do enjoy that about it. As far as the carry goes, excellent. In my other video, I have it with putting it in jeans. I have to cut up a new pair of jeans to do that again. My other ones were just too far gone. But as you can see, hardly anything sticking out. You just got that little bit. And like I said, it's super slim. No flipper tab. I'm not anti-flipper, but I kind of tired of them at the moment. But played with too many lately as a knife reviewer. There's so many. There's no flipper tab. Super easy to slide your hand by. Very comfortable in the pocket. Weight's not bad. 3.8 ounces for 3.3 inches of blade. It's a little bit beyond that, you know, ounce per inch thing that we always talk about, but that's kind of arbitrary. I think the thinness of it more than makes up for that. Super easy knife to carry. Easier to carry than a PM2 or a Manix 2 or anything like that. And you know, this may be $220, but roughly, but you can easily spend that on a fancy pants PM2. So no complaints there. All right, as far as the action goes, it's better. I think with the ceramic detent ball, it did make it better. The previous one I had, it had some miles on it, so maybe it was just a bit worn out, but does snap right out. I think the detent's just a little bit better. It feels slightly more drop shutty, but it's not really that kind of drop shutty kind of knife. I have not taken this apart and put all my special sauce on it, which is just KPL. But when I do that, maybe it'll be even a little bit better. One of the downsides to this is I was kind of hoping in the CQI version they would put a steel lock bar interface in it. They did not. It's still titanium. Yeah, and you can see the lockup's already like 50%. I don't know how that's going to break in, but there is no lock stick at all. That is perfectly fine. I have no issues with that. And, you know, a lot of really expensive knives still come with that, you know, with no steel lock bar insert. But I would have liked to have seen that in the CQI version. Would have even been willing to pay a couple bucks more for that, but they chose not to go that way. Other than that, I have no complaints about the action. The opening it's pretty great. You cannot Spidey flick it though, because you can't reach it. I mean, you kind of can, but it's really difficult to do. It's pretty much just thumb flick open. Not a huge deal, doesn't bother me, but yeah, if you really like to Spidey flick, you can't do that with this readily. You can, but it's not something you can readily do. As far as my overall conclusions go, I liked it before. I still do. I think the ceramic the detent ball was a slight improvement. I don't think it's a huge dramatic improvement. If you're shopping for one in the secondary, that would not stop me from buying one, unless you are in an environment where you are actually going to be using this for its corrosion resistant properties. Then yeah, get the CQI version. But if you don't care about that, and you can get the other one for a couple bucks cheaper, I assume they're probably going to drop down a little bit now since the CQI version's out. I know that's happened with the Capara. I've seen some Caparas going for very, very cheap on the secondary, because I think people are probably upgrading to the CQI one. That'll be a subject for a whole other video. I don't need one. Mine works great out of the box, so I don't really feel the need to change. But anywho, yeah, I really like this. I think for $217.75 as it's listed right now for MAP, yeah, not bad at all. When you compare it to other Swish designs, some of his are really, really expensive. And I think this is an excellent value. I'm so glad that Spyderco did not kill it. I really thought they were going to, because they often do with his designs. They make them for a short amount of time. They try and keep them kind of limited, and then they move on to the next one. They're not with the Spydiechef, so that's excellent news. So maybe we'll get a Swish Buoy 2 or something like that. That would be awesome. But we shall see. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Yeah, this is mine now. Thank you, Lavender Pants. That's his username. That's not his Christian name. Thank you for sending this to me. You're not going to get it back. You'll be getting some money instead. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.